let's go to another one right in your wheelhouse. Sammy D, Sam Darnold, and the Seattle Seahawks. Interesting little subplot here, Colin. So obviously they're 10-3, and they're going for the number 1 seed. They should smoke the Colts this weekend. I don't know if Phillip Rivers starts or not. We'll see. But Sam Darnold is talking to the media this week. He's talking about the offense and it clicking. Take a listen to this.
Obviously coming off last week, just, the emphasis, I guess, this week would just be, continuing to be efficient and be ourselves as an offense throughout the entire game. And that really starts in practice with our prep. But again, just looking at these guys, a really good team, really good defense, really good scheme, and their players, like I always kind of say, but especially this week, they kind of make it come to life with the scheme that they have, and, we're excited about the challenge.
Yeah, this is, there are 2 teams in the league that we're not talking about, aren't getting a lot of play among what I call national media. The Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks. And when you watch both, it's really obvious they have drafted extremely well. They are fast and violent and aggressive and physical and intimidating. You start looking at Seattle. Seattle's had 6 games this year, J-Mac, where they've won by 14 or more. That's kind of what Super Bowl champs do. If you go back and look after, like Philadelphia last season or Super Bowl teams, you'll go back and go, man, they forget how many times they carved people up. That's why the Ravens have been so disappointing the last several years. They've been that team that blows people out, and then in January they struggle. So you start watching Seattle, and I know this week will be an outlier because of the Phillip Rivers situation. Seattle, their last 3 drafts, they have hit on a lot of dudes. That safety from South Carolina, 2nd-round guy. Oh.
Is it fair to call them something of a bully, Colin, when they go up against bad teams? They're just going to overwhelm them. Because Zach pulled some interesting stats here. So in a win over New Orleans, they scored 38 in the first half, 6 in the second half.
Right.
Against Washington, 31 in the first half, 7 second half. But then they alternate, like that Atlanta game last week. 6-6 at halftime, then they explode. I don't know if inconsistent's the right word. They're the number 1 team in point differential in the first half. But a lot of that is against Arizona, Washington, New Orleans. And here we go. We got them on the screen here. Interestingly, 4th quarter. Now, is that because they're blowing teams out and they're not trying to score?
I always defend teams that have a 3 or 4 touchdown lead at half. You go in, what do you say to players? They're not
You're
dummies.
not hanging 50 on them.
Yeah.
So they have played San Francisco opener. They lost.
Just take out the Sam Darnold Rams performance. Because the game came down to a field goal, right? Like it was close.
It was 60-yarder or something like that. Yeah.
So take out Sam's game against the Rams. The argument is that's the best team in the league. And even in that game, how good do you have to be to throw 4 picks? And you're marching to beat what we view as now the best team in the league at their place.
It was impressive. I think they could pick their score here. Like you said, 24-6.
I am convinced Seattle will run it. Short passing. Darnold goes 18 of 23. Maybe ugly weather. Yeah. Get in, get out, get healthy. Rams around the corner.
Seattle does close with, after this Colts team, by the way, Colts secondary is beat up. No Sauce Gardner again. Rams at Carolina. That's a long cross-country trip late in the season. And then at San Fran. So those are 3 playoff teams to close. I want to see Seattle. This week they're going to look good. Let me see those final 3 before I judge them heading into the play.
I won't do my other victory lap where I showed you that I predicted. I said be on the lookout for the Seattle Seahawks first half. Sam Darnold, Clint Kubiak. I already did that victory lap where I showed you a clip from like July or something where I said that. And now they're the best team in the NFL in first half. Not too bad. Not too bad. But the other big game that people are taking for granted is against the Texans, and clears throat. The Seattle Seahawks clearly had the best game against the Houston Texans, and any of the issues from the Seahawks were a little bit self-inflicted. I think that was a game that Cooper Kupp threw an interception, if memory serves me correctly. And then a couple just really brilliant defensive plays. I remember the one interception was just like, but also Sam made such an unbelievable throw to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and it was just breathtaking. But this is obviously the Texans schedule, and you can see all these games, and the Seahawks clearly have the best win by a mile. And we all believe that that Texans defense is elite and brutal to play against. Brutal to play against. And so and no one's really questioning the Seahawks defense right now. If anything, people are more concerned about what was Cam Donald look against the pass rusher, in the playoffs, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, seemingly against the most difficult team, it wasn't pretty because no one plays pretty against the Houston Texans, but they got the job done. And they actually were in a position where they could have rolled that Texans defense even more. But again, credit to the defense and some mistakes by the Seahawks, undeniably. But it's a shame this game is going to be a little overshadowed by the potential of Phillip Rivers. You guys know I am way out like Colin's like, oh, the Seahawks don't get enough attention. And I'm out here making all the Seahawks videos as I possibly can. I came out here and was like, Seahawks fans, I want to make more Seahawks videos. Please show up. Please subscribe. Watch the full-length video. I want to be able to keep making Seahawks videos. And you guys absolutely did. You showed up. You guys are the ones, these are your grabs. Like, you guys are the ones that, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And so, if you build it, they will come, I guess. But, like, it's just, it is funny. There are a collection of teams that really get under-discussed, and it just so happens to be the two teams that I've referred to my babies because I believed in them before anyone else, and that's the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. And surprise, surprise, they're both significantly under-discussed. The NFL, I think, would be very much afraid of a Seahawks-Broncos Super Bowl. They would be afraid that no one's going to watch it. I'll watch it. But yeah, because it's Phillip Rivers, because of everything is unfolding, how it's unfolding, this game, it just becomes a bit of a mess, honestly. I don't know. It just gets weird, and the whole conversation, just be prepared if it is Phillip Rivers that whole time. The broadcast, that's all they're going to talk about, right? They'll probably, like, credit the defense and whatnot, but, like, the story is going to be Phillip Rivers, and truthfully, it should be, like, that's just the way it is. Yeah. I think we can, I think even Seahawks fans will be a bit of a sucker to be like, I kind of, like, you're like, I'm sure some of you wanted to see him get lit up and destroyed because obviously it's your team. You want to see your team ball, but also, like, I don't know. I think you could admit you maybe want to see him look competent. It's a cool, inspiring story. It's just interesting. It's something new. And when you do have the Rams on the horizon, like that is what matters most. And we'll have to see. Obviously, maybe the Rams lose to the Lions, right? Like that's a possibility. But it's just like you definitely do have a harder three-game schedule. The 49ers, maybe they're playing for everything. Maybe they're playing for nothing, the way how this is all unfolding. The Seahawks could be playing for everything, right? Like the playoff standings are insane right now. There is going to be a genuinely good team, dare I say even great team, not make the playoffs. And it could be the Seahawks. Again, not predicting that it is, but it's a possibility. It's certainly a possibility. You got 10 wins. The 7 seed has 9 wins, right? You can find yourself on the outside looking in a blink of the eye, and the difference, right? This is exactly where Sam was last year. You win a game. You're the 1 seed. You lose a game. You drop down to the 5 seed. And if let's say you lose to the Rams, that obviously becomes extra devastating. But like, you could find yourself in a position where you're just like, oh man, we're fighting for the 7 seed, or, it's just, everything is so congested now. What's also really kind of interesting is, let's say the Lions beat the Rams. That obviously helps you from like catching them from a 1 seed perspective, but also elevates the floor now even higher, because now the 8 seed is now a 9-win team, and then you got to start going through the tiebreakers of, Chicago and whatnot, and San Fran, and it just things are going to get even more congested than they are already now, unless you have a team like the 49ers who just start to really unravel, or the Lions, some of these teams just unravel. And again, not predicting that it's the Seattle Seahawks, obviously, right? I think that's very clear with that. And it's hard to imagine that they're going to randomly drop this game against the Colts. But who knows? Maybe Phillip Rivers balls out and you're just like, what did I just see? But it's not inconceivable to lose to the Rams. And then the Panthers are, I don't know, are they good? Are they not? Like, I still have not committed to saying the Panthers are a good team, but maybe they actually are. There's games that you could lose is all I'm trying to say. Again, no predictions, zero predictions, but you know, it's a very fascinating 4-game stretch. You have the Colts with Phillip Rivers. I have no idea what you're even supposed to think of that game. Now, you go to the Rams. That's everything, right? That is the Los Angeles Rams. They're the 1 seed. Maybe after week 15 things are slightly different and now it's really like, "Oh man, let's go. Let's go. Let's go." And then the Panthers, you're like, "Who the heck are the Panthers?" And then the 49ers, you're like, did the 49ers luck run out? Is that game nothing now? Are they and actually are they no longer in the playoffs and it doesn't matter when? Are they in a weird situation where they need to win, but they also need like 7 different other scenarios to happen? Or are they locked into the playoffs? They're so banged up that they're like, we're sitting everyone, you know, we're happy with the 7 seed or the 6 seed. Like, doesn't matter to us. We're good. We don't care about anything. We're resting up. And maybe the Seahawks still want it because they still figure out, well, hey, we could be the 5 seed, or maybe by chance, if the Rams lose in week 18, they could still get right. Like I don't know. We know the NFL always ends up with so many of these random scenarios that really do become quite impossible to predict. So it's definitely going to be a trip, man. I mean, these next 4 weeks of football, each week has its own pretty unique, fascinating storyline. Honestly, it really, really does. And we're really going from one swing to another. The Phillip Rivers story. So, like, what the heck is that to Rams Seahawks rematch? Get after it. Battle for the 1 seed. Battlefield battle for a home field advantage. Battle for the division. Massive stakes. Massive through the roof stakes. The Seahawks beat the Rams. Nobody will doubt their ability to actually go on a Super Bowl run. You lose to the Rams, even if they're firmly in the 5th seed, even if they somehow find a way to, they lose to the Rams, but they still beat the Rams in the division, right? They still end up the 1 seed. However, just because people would still be like, I don't really believe in the Seahawks. Yeah, they won the division, but the Rams just had a couple fluky games where they lost. They're the better, right? Like people would still very much firmly believe that you beat the Rams. That changes everything though. And then we'll start to have, I think, more targeted conversations about who Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks team is. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think are the Seattle Seahawks? How do you feel about the flow of this game going up against the Indianapolis Colts? Admit it. Seahawks fans, you're intrigued by the Phillip Rivers story. You're intrigued. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, it's already come out that Phillip Rivers isn't playing, right? But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment so that you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.